Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life According to Nikki.
Are we kidding? Oh my gosh, I love that.
You guys, welcome to my 50th episode. Ooh, I'm so excited, elated, and happy about the fact that I have made 50 episodes. This right here was my New Year's resolution, and doesn't it seem fitting, almost poetic, that I began this the last week in December of last year, which is what this is right now when I'm recording, and I set the goal to make a podcast. Now, I decided that when I made it, I was going to upload 10 episodes before I told anybody about it, so that way it could be a little bit more well established. I can kind of get in my groove. And I told everybody in March that I had a podcast, and I now have 50 episodes out in a 52-week year. And that just makes me so happy. I love setting and completing New Year's resolutions and goals, and I was actually having a conversation about goal setting with Abby when she was on the pod a couple weeks ago. I think it was actually last week that her episode dropped, the Kung Fu girl. Yeah, love her. Anyways, Abby and I had a conversation about goal setting, and it didn't really fit into the episode of last week, so I'm just going to put that portion in at the end of today's episode so you can get my scattered thoughts, because I have a lot of thoughts on goal setting and accomplishing your goals. This is now the 5th year in a row that I've set a New Year's resolution and I completed it. I did it the entire year, and I think the biggest thing that's helped me with that is, one, making very realistic goals, and two, making sure I'm only setting one goal and not 12 goals. Because if you say, like, I'm gonna eat healthy, that's 12 goals that you're setting right there. You are gonna have to switch the way that you eat, the way that you cook, the way that you grocery shop, what time you go to the store, because you're gonna have to get more than you normally do. Like, you're setting way too many goals. That's why you never accomplish it. But most importantly, I think switching my mindset to making my goals come from a place of creativity has been incredible. Coming from a place of wanting to be more than I am and become the person that I dream of being, and allowing her, this future version of myself that I know lives inside of me, to make these choices and decisions has really been transformative. And I think that that's why I've been able to accomplish them, is because at my core, who I am as a person, I was born a creator. That is my job, my mission here on earth. And I believe that it's all of ours, that we were born to create, whether that's create music, create art, create food that people can enjoy and that they love, create laughter, or create connection, friendship. I think that the powers of creation are not limited to just one thing or another, but I think our purpose as people here on this earth is to figure out how to create, how to be more and share more. And for me, I love creating friendship. I love creating that connection between people. I love feeling connected. And I think that that's what I was born to do. I was born to share my story and to give place for others to share theirs. This podcast has truly been me leaning into that feeling, leaning into my creativity and learning new skills like how to edit and doing things I hate, like posting on social media. I know that it may seem like I love social media because I'm like always on my story, but a story is much different than like having to create a post and a caption and pictures. Like, no, that's not really my jam. But I've learned to do it, and I have never edited anything before, audio wise, so I had to learn how to do that, how to upload things. I learned a lot of new skills this year that have been so great, and I'm so proud of myself. And I just want to thank all of you for being along on this journey. This has been such a great year, and I'm so excited to continue it. I have lots of episodes ready to go for the upcoming weeks. as I get ready to move to Australia. Oh, hold on. I think I might throw up. Oh, the anxiety, no, it's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be great. But yeah, my stress level is as high as it can go. We are at the top of the scale. Goal has been hit on that. So now it's just trying to feel good with all of that stress and just let whatever happens and be trusting and look for the miracles, look for the good. That has been my goal. The amount of mindset manifestation podcasts and YouTube videos that I have listened to in the last 30 days is crazy. If there is an audio that you love about manifestation, please send it my way, because I am ingesting that every night, in the morning, throughout the day, because every time I just feel that sense of, what am I doing? Like, this is such a crazy choice. I have to check myself and be like, no, we're not pushing up against that rock anymore. We're not doing it. We're looking for parts to a ladder. We are finding a way over this boulder, okay? And if we fall, we fall. But until that point, it's not over till it's over. So I am in my manifestation phase right now. I would like to say era, but that feels almost overused at this point. So I'm in my manifestation moment. Now, because I just talked about the fact that I have completed this New Year's resolution, I have accomplished my goal, look at me finishing a task, love that for me, I just wanted to make sure that we set the record straight that I'm not finishing everything, because lest we forget who I am never above giving up on things that don't matter. So I thought it might be fun to reflect back on not just what I haven't finished this year, but just from top of the memory, all of the series and movies and things that I have not completed, that I gave up on and said, thank you so much for what you did, or rather what you didn't do, and I'm gonna move on. You were not worth my time. So that is what we're gonna do with our shows today. Instead of talking about all the things I've watched, we're gonna talk about all the things that I never completed watching. All right, these are in no particular order. All right, we're just gonna go through the list. I just tried to think of everything that I gave a significant amount of time to. If I started something with like one episode, or I got a couple episodes in and then gave up, I'm not counting those. We're talking at least minimum 4 episodes, and typically on most of these, it's going to be at least 1 to 2 seasons, okay? So I gave it the college try. It just did not prove good enough to keep me holding on. You know what I mean? First up, we have Reign, Reign from the CW. I talked about this on another episode. Yeah, I got at least 1 season in. The costumes were beautiful. The plot was fun, but ultimately the episodes were too long. It was 22 episodes a season, way too much drama, and I did have to give up very soon into that. Next, we have I consider these all kind of in their same group, even though they are different series. We have Pretty Little Liars, Gossip Girl, and Vampire Diaries. All of those are the same to me. They do the same things, even though they are different stories and things. Ultimately, you start off with a group of people, and they all are coupled up, and then slowly throughout the seasons, drama happens, and they all switch who they're with. So-and-so cheats with the friend, and then they get together, and then they cheat, and then you make a full rotation where, in the end, they're back where we began, and they're all with their original couplings. And we had to go 5 seasons of that. So most of these, I made it at least 4 seasons in, which I think is pretty commendable, considering I think all of them are like 7 to 8 seasons. But Pretty Little Liars, Gossip Girl, and Vampire Diaries, they're a lot. If you're gonna pick one, if you've just heard about them your whole life and you're into the drama and you want to participate, out of those 3, I would recommend Vampire Diaries. I think that one has the best starting seasons out of all 3 series. I think Gossip Girl had the best ending ones, even though I didn't watch it all the way through. I did skip to like the very last episodes, but from what I pieced together, that one was a little bit better. I hated the ending of Vampire Diaries because I skipped to that end as well. And then I never made it to the end of Pretty Little Liars. Yeah, no, we gave up pretty soon after some certain events happened. But if you're gonna start them, if you're like, I have to, then go for Vampire Diaries. Skip Gossip Girl, skip Pretty Little Liars, just stick with the vampires. Next we have Lost and Grey's Anatomy. Lost, I got 4 seasons in, my classic number. Grey's Anatomy, I got 15 seasons in before I pulled the plug on that. Now, Grey's Anatomy was my pre-mission watch. I did watch all 15 seasons in, I believe it was a 3-month period of time, which when you really break that down hours-wise is crazy because I was working 40 hours a week, okay? All I was doing was working and watching Grey's Anatomy as I prepared for my mission. Wouldn't consider it the best mission prep ever, but I was locked in. I was absolutely locked in. I was watching that on my break, my free time. Any moment that I could, I was watching Grey's Anatomy. And when I got home from my mission, I was like, you know what? I don't think that that's a space that I should enter back into. That was a dark hole for me that I fell into, a pit, really, that I could not get out of. It consumed every moment of my time. I am not a casual watcher. We know this, okay? So if I'm going to enter into something that is highly addictive, you can kiss my pretty face goodbye, because unless you are coming over to watch it with me, you won't see me. This is all I'm going to be thinking about. This is all I'm going to be doing. And because I'm locked in, I'm not multitasking. It's taking up all of my productivity. So, you know what? Grey's Anatomy, I couldn't do it again because I know myself. Even though I've seen it and I know what's going to happen, I know that I'm just constantly going to be clicking that next episode. So I had to give up after 15 seasons. Plus, after Derek dies, I wasn't really in it anymore. I was in it for Derek and Meredith, okay? Love me, choose me. I mean, oh gosh. Yeah, no, I was there for that, okay? Even though don't love the begging and the competing with women, but you know what? We put all of that aside when we watch Grey's Anatomy. Shonda Rhimes really does know what she's doing. And I felt like it got a little bit too, not risque, but we were going really all over the place with the plot and the characters after Derek died, and I couldn't keep up with all the new people. I liked my old people, you know? So, bye-bye to Lost and Grey's Anatomy. I also watched WandaVision, and that one I gave up with 2 episodes left. I'm telling you guys, it's never too late to just pull that plug. You don't have to finish. You don't. You can Google it. And that's what I did. I Googled the ending. It was boring. It was creative and fun at the beginning, but you know, I'm not the biggest Marvel fan. I like Marvel way more than DC. I think DC is actual trash, but it just didn't grab me, you know? It wasn't enough, and I'm not into the history and the lore of the Marvel comics and stuff, so sorry, but WandaVision was on my did not finish list, my little DNF, if you will. The Bear. We know my thoughts on The Bear. The Bear was a little bit too intense for me, okay? That kitchen was a little too hot. I couldn't cook in there. You know, they say that old saying, if it's too hot, get out of the kitchen, and I did. I said, bye-bye. Thank you so much for the not good times. There were too many cooks in there. I mean, take any cooking analogy you want, okay? I couldn't be in there any longer. So I did watch the entire first season, and when the second season came out, I got 1 episode in, and I thought, nah, I'm good. I don't need to know how this ends. And I didn't even Google that one. I don't even know how it ended. But I'm okay with not knowing on that one. This next one is a throwback to the very beginning of this podcast when I talked about watching Percy Jackson and the Olympians. That one I gave up with 1 episode left. You know, it just, I forgot about it. And then by the time I remembered that I was watching that, I had moved on. So, don't know how it ended. I don't even know if there's a season 2. I would guess there is. I mean, it was fun. It was a good time, but it was coming out weekly. Okay, that was your biggest problem. I can't watch something that's dropping on a weekly basis, all right? No, I need to be able to binge it in one sitting. This whole making me come back every week, babe, no. I'm gonna tell you no, and I'm not gonna do it. The only things that will keep me coming back week after week is Survivor. I will watch Survivor every single episode weekly, but I think that's it. I think the only other season that I kept up with this year was the Golden Bachelorette, but that's because it was more of a social thing, getting together with my friends once a week. It was delightful, and I did enjoy the Golden Bachelorette. I loved the Golden Bachelor. I mean, so sad that they broke up only a few months after getting married. Gary. That made me really sad because the season was so beautiful. But the Golden Bachelorette was darling, and the camaraderie and brothership between these guys was so tender and sweet. I loved it. I cried in a couple episodes. So that one I did watch weekly, and then Survivor, of course, I'm watching every Wednesday when it drops. But besides those two, unless you are phenomenal, don't be telling me about it because I will give up. I won't finish, just like Percy Jackson and the Olympians, okay? I just couldn't do it, Something else takes my attention and then I'm not coming back. Okay, these next ones are kind of a mix of some that I watched this year and then some throwbacks. Let's start with the throwbacks. Duck Dynasty. I used to be so into Duck Dynasty. I have 3 brothers and they were obsessed with this show. And naturally, when it was always on, I would come downstairs and watch it with them. And I ended up really enjoying it. I remember when it very first came out and oh my gosh, we were laughing. It was so great. I was a big Duck Dynasty fan. And then I don't know when or how, I don't know the timeline, but we just stopped watching it out of nowhere. Just cold turkey, no longer. But I do remember the good times of watching Duck Dynasty. I do not follow any of, like Sadie Robertson or anything. I don't follow any of those people on any social media platforms, but I will always have in my heart the first 2 seasons of Duck Dynasty and watching those with my brothers. Another oldie is going to be The Office. I did watch it all the way through, but I don't remember pretty much anything past Michael leaving because I checked out. Now, I was watching it again with my siblings, and I remember finishing it, but I couldn't tell you anything that happens. I know Will Ferrell gets in there, but if I were to ever watch The Office again, I would probably start on season 2 or season 3 and skip season 1 entirely, and then I would immediately stop when Michael leaves. Yeah, if I'm going to enter into that space again, those are my conditions. I also tried to watch this year Young Royals, got an entire first season in before I gave up. It was just a little too dramatic for me, a little too cheesy. I don't know. I have 0 problems with subtitles. I am totally fine to watch foreign TV shows. Maxton Hall was freaking epic. Loved it. Have watched it 3 times now. Love Maxton Hall, and that's a German show. They do now have it. It's dubbed in English. But you can watch it in German with English subtitles, which I prefer to listen and watch it in their original language. I don't really love the English dubbing. But anyways, besides the point, love Maxton Hall, did not feel the same about Young Royals. I tried, I really did, but it was a no for me. I gave up promptly after, maybe it wasn't even the full season. I might have gotten at least 3/4 of the way through season 1 before I told everyone deuces on that. Okay, we have Upload next. Loved season 1. Absolutely loved season 1. Season 2 was also fun. Gave up 2 episodes into season 3 and just Googled the ending. It was unfortunate, it was sad, but it had to be done. Upload. I miss you, and I wish you would have done better. Jumping back in time, High School Musical, the series. I did the entire first season when it first dropped, once it was all out, and, I had an okay time. Some of those songs, bangers, still listen to them to this day. But then Olivia Rodrigo dropped her album Sour, which is such a great album, honestly. And then, I was seeing all the drama between her and Joshua Bassett in the media, which, if you are unfamiliar, you have this series called The High School Musical, the series. It's way too long of a title, okay? But it's about kids at East High, which is located in Salt Lake City, Utah, and they decide that they're going to put on for the musical theater department High School Musical, the play, in the school that it was originally filmed. I know, it's like The Matrix. Anyways, the two main leads, Joshua Bassett, who plays Troy Bolton in the school's production, and then you have the girl that plays Gabriella in the school production, named Olivia Rodrigo in real life. They started dating, and it was really cute, you know, little teenage romance. Joshua Bassett is a couple years older than Olivia, and then, you know, things went sour, but because Olivia Rodrigo is a singer, and her album was called Sour. And anyways, she basically wrote the breakup album of the summer, the year that it came out. Driver's License, that song, exploded. I mean, I can't even express to you. If you were on TikTok at that time, that was all I was seeing, all I was hearing. Everyone was going crazy over this album, and it does have really good songs, don't get me wrong. But then it became like just this slander and attack on Joshua because there were rumors that he went for another singing artist called Sabrina Carpenter, who is pretty popular. She's the one that sings like Espresso and Please, 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 if you've heard those recently on the radio. She's very in right now. Anyways, like in Olivia's song, she says, in her driver's license song, she talks about like that there's this blonde girl and she's nice and you liked her more, but like we were still dating and you liked her. So it kind of insinuates that like he potentially cheated. Then Joshua comes out with a song that basically says like, no, I didn't. And then Sabrina Carpenter came out with a song that's like, why y'all talking crap about me? Anyways, it was like so dramatic and very stupid. But in the end, they still had to come back to film the next seasons of the show. And by that time, I was over it. And I did not care to watch the additional seasons. So I only got one season in on that, and it wasn't worth any more of my time. Or the news articles and all that stuff. I gave up. I just didn't care anymore. I was like, this feels teenage-ish, so I'm gonna step out. I'm gonna go into a more adult space, thank you. Which, speaking of adult spaces, sorry, quick pause on what we're talking about. Remember how I did an entire episode about the drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni in It Ends With Us? I did an entire breakdown about that. You guys, there has been a new development. Blake Lively filed a lawsuit against Justin saying that he ran an entire like PR scheme to ruin her reputation, and she also alleges sexual assault. The drama is steaming. I don't really know how I feel about the whole thing, honestly. I don't know. Too soon to say on that. But it does seem like a PR's worst nightmare, but also at the same time, I bet PR groups just thrive on this. They thrive on the drama. I bet the most dramatic people in a group growing up, they're PR people now. I bet that there's a correlation there. Anyways, I just had to bring that up because if we're talking about adult drama, this feels like adult drama at this point. Like sexual harassment and PR stuff and big time celebrities. Oh my gosh. And every single day I'm like seeing new stuff coming out about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. But again, I'm gonna let the dust settle before I make an opinion. And because I'm not on TikTok, I'm not as swayable because I'm not seeing like one side or the other. I'm kind of seeing more neutral-ish ground. I don't know, it depends. But I will state my opinions on the entire thing at a later date. Next up on my list of things I've given up on, A Discovery of Witches. This was so good for the first and I would say the second season, okay? First season especially, oh my gosh, it was amazing. Incredible actors. It has the guy from, oh gosh, what's that Irish show called? Leap Year. The guy who's the main lead in that, he's so hot. Anyways, he's the lead, and then you have the girl from The Choice by Nicholas Sparks. Could I look up their names? Absolutely, but you know what? We're just rolling with it. The mic is live, and it has both of them. Their chemistry, oh, so good. She's a witch, he's a vampire, and I was here for it. It was so good. But then we really lost it in the third season, and I gave up halfway through. Unfortunate, I know, but it was their own fault. But the first two seasons, so solid. Big Little Lies is up next on the list. Now, I know a lot of people really like this show. I just couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. I don't really love Shailene Woodley. Nicole Kidman's good, and Alexander Skarsgård was in it, who I really love, but their relationship, oh, it's so toxic, and I get that that's part of the storyline, but I got 5 episodes in, and it was just a little too much for me. A little too heavy, so I said no thank you on that one. Let's hit you with a triple. We have Solos, Beef, and Muted. Muted is, I believe it's Spanish, a Spanish show. I know that I had to watch it with subtitles. I got 4 episodes in before saying I was done, and then I just Googled the ending on that one. It, from the trailer, looked really good. It was like this high suspense kind of thing, but it didn't keep me. Beef, I did not like. Both of the main characters in that one were so unlikable and so unethical to me that I didn't like it. I thought it was really cool that they had like this Asian cast, and I loved the diversity in that way, like really shining a light on these people that are not really shown in media as much. But I'm so sorry. I did not like the main characters, and it was uncomfortable for me to watch. It didn't make me feel good. So I had to give up after I think like 3 episodes on that one. And then Solos, that one was, they're not connected episodes, they're just kind of their own thing. There was a couple episodes that I really liked, and then it got boring, and so I stopped watching them. If I'm going through this list and you're like, I've never heard of any of these shows, that's okay. If anything, it just proves how much I am willing to watch TV and how many different genres I'm trying. Okay, I will eventually get to something that you've heard of. These ones were the ones I gave up on, so they're really not that good. I've also probably seen a ton of the mainstream ones that you do know of, and obviously I've talked about them in all my other episodes, but these are the ones that you may have never heard of, and if you ever do, just never let it get on your radar, okay? If it was supposed to be on your radar, I would have let you know. But yeah, if you've never heard of these, that's okay. I wish I would have finished Last Man Standing, but those kind of sitcom-y ones, they're fun, but I just can't hold me for that long. So I do recommend Last Man Standing. It's so fun. Originally, there was a series called Home Improvement with Tim Allen, and he has 3 sons, and it's just such a delightful, funny comedy show. It was very popular when it was out. I remember like watching that growing up. And then in the new age, Tim Allen, it's switched dynamic. Instead of having 3 sons, he has 3 daughters, and it's really enjoyable. But sitcoms in general don't keep me seated for that long. So I think I watched 4, maybe 5 seasons, at least 3. I know for sure I got 3 seasons in before I gave up. Rapid fire time, Only Murderers in the Building, Good Girls, In the Dark, The Dropout, The Politician, The Crown, Modern Love, and Ginny and Georgia. Okay, back up at the top, Only Murderers in the Building, season 1 was pretty good. I enjoyed myself, but I don't know. Everyone's super into that show, but it didn't catch me. It didn't really do much for me. It didn't have enough suspense for me to want to watch the next episode, but it didn't have enough comedy for me to think that it was funny enough for me to keep watching. It was just so in the middle for me, and I honestly don't really understand why it's as popular as it is. Good Girls and In the Dark, I love both of those series, but what happened was they were not fully bingeable. They weren't fully out. So I binged the seasons that were available, and then by the time that the new ones came out, I had forgotten what had happened because there was the whole writer's strike, so they hadn't come out for a long time, and I had moved on. So unfortunate for both of those, because those ones are actually incredible, In the Dark and Good Girls, but I've never circled back around to finish them up. The Dropout, that one hit a little too close to home because the person that's in, like, that plays the woman boss in that one, she reminded me way too much of the worst boss I've ever had in my life, and yeah, it was just a little too much for me, but very fascinating story. I did like that, but yeah, it was just a little too touchy. I was like, oh, this is giving me PTSD from when I worked for a horrible person. The Politician, binge season 1 in a day. It was phenomenal. It has Ben Platt in it. It's so good. It's so funny. But 3 episodes into season 2, I just felt like, where were we going? Yeah, we weren't going anywhere, and I gave up. I know so many of you are into The Crown, but I found it boring, and I guess I just don't have enough interest in the British royal crown. I don't know, that sort of politics stuff. I do find it fascinating when someone's just talking to me about it, and I always think to myself, oh my gosh, I want to learn more. And I watch something from, like olden times, like Queen Victoria and all this stuff, Mary Queen of Scots, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what is this history? I want to learn more. And then I sit down to watch a series that will explain it to me, and I get bored. It just, I don't know. I remember I'm a little bit too much of an American, and I don't care. Modern Love, I can't even remember really much about that. I just remember got a couple episodes in and it was dumb. Ginny and Georgia was okay for one season, but I did not like either Ginny or Georgia. Once again, it was a series where no one was good enough for me to root for, and I don't like watching series where I can't have somebody with some sort of redeeming quality. I want somebody to root for. I want someone to be a good person, and I hated Ginny, to be honest. I hated her, and I hated like the self-violence stuff, and she was so whiny. No. No, 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 no. Next up, Downton Abbey, Outer Banks, Virgin River, The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Downton Abbey, 5 seasons in, I couldn't take it anymore. All right, it was good. It's phenomenal television. It's a great story, but the drama was too much. I was too stressed out. When you start going for, I think it was Anna and her husband, who was the valet, no, I was done. I couldn't do the whole imprisonment thing. No, it was so dramatic. I was stressed, and I shouldn't be stressed when I'm watching TV. So I had to give up. Outer Banks was so stupid. Season 1, I was really just there because everyone was enjoying it, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll hop on this train. Season 2, I was like, ugh, put me out of my misery. You can't pay me to watch anything past season 2, okay? I'm not gonna do it. It was so cheesy. It was so dumb. I was questioning every step of the way. I was like, why am I watching this? No, it was dumb. Virgin River, I've talked about this before. Season 1 was fun. I enjoyed the plot, the characters. I was having a good time. Season 2 was okay. Season 3, it was as if the entire cast had some falling out or all got amnesia and they had never seen each other in their lives. All of the chemistry that was between the characters, gone. Okay, and freaking Champagne, I don't remember her name. I just remember calling her Champagne. The one that's like pregnant with what's-his-face's children. I hated her so much that I couldn't watch the show anymore because of it. It was just stupid. So, yeah, I had to give up on that. The Marvelous Miss Maisel, I did give a solid attempt because it was so popular, but I think it was about 6 episodes into the first season. I just realized it wasn't for me. The time era, it was okay. It was funny, but not captivating enough. I get why people like it, though. I do think it is a genuinely good show, just not my cup of tea. Our list continues with All American, Jane the Virgin, Young and Hungry, Baby Daddy, and Riverdale. Now, All American and Riverdale, I'm going to put in the same category, just teenage drama being played by 30-year-olds that are trying to pretend and tell you that they're somehow 16 years old. Please. Yeah, no. If that's happening at all, I'm probably not going to like the series in general. All right, get these freaking 30-year-olds off my screen. John B., I'm looking at you. You don't look 16. You can't pass as 16. So stop trying. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And the drama and the sleeping with each other, it's just, no. So I gave up pretty quickly on both Riverdale and All American. Riverdale, I made it at least 1 season in. All American, it was 4 episodes before I was out. Jane the Virgin, I know, so popular for a lot of people, but I'm just not into the soap operas, okay? I couldn't do the narration. I tried. I really, really tried, but it wasn't enough for me. Young and Hungry, yet another like sitcom-y one, and that one is going to go in the same category as Baby Daddy. Baby Daddy, I did make it all the way up until the last season, and then I gave up 2 episodes into the last season. Young and Hungry, I only made it 2 seasons in. The Good Place, Deaf You, Space Force, and Insatiable. Insatiable was trash garbage, and I gave up after 2 episodes, and I wish to this day I never watched those 2 episodes. Deaf You I found fascinating because I took sign language in high school and in college, so I thought that would be fun and interesting, but it was like a TLC type of thing where they show you in the preview everything that you're about to watch. You just watch it in 30 seconds, and then somehow when you're watching it, they turn that 30 seconds of information into 15 minutes, but you didn't gain anything new that you didn't see in the coming up next part. Does that make sense? Like, you're not seeing any new information. And then when it turns back on, you just have a review of everything you just watched. I'm like, am I 2 years old? Like, do I have a 2 second memory? I saw it. We don't need to review. No new information was gathered. It was just dumb and kind of petty, and I didn't like the pacing of it and the way that it was filmed, so I had to give up after 4 episodes. Space Force, to this day, is one of the biggest disappointments I've ever witnessed when it comes to TV. Had a killer lineup, incredible cast members, but stupid plot. Oh, so dumb. I think I only made it 2 episodes in. The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Emily in Paris, The Good Doctor, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and The Resident. Okay, let's talk about The Resident first. Such a hot actor. It's the guy who plays Logan in Gilmore Girls. But with all medical dramas, I can only last so long. Just medical dramas don't do it for me. Again, too much drama and not fascinating enough. And a lot of times I have to close my eyes anyways because I can't deal with the blood and gore. So I hardly ever stick it out for a medical drama. That's just a personal thing. Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. I loved the creativity. I loved the interesting idea of it all. But once again, it was a series that was coming out weekly, and after 4 episodes, I couldn't hang on any longer. Sorry, but I have no idea how it ends. Never Googled it, never looked it up. But it was a fun and creative idea, and for that, I will applaud it. The Good Doctor, kind of same thing as The Resident. I got into that one because the doctor is on the spectrum. He's autistic, and I minored in autism studies. But then it just kind of felt like I was in school, you know? Like, I'm watching and learning so much about autism. I didn't really want to do it in my free time. And it was a medical drama, so I did watch the ending, though, so I do know how it ends. And I was quite happy and pleased with where it all went. Emily in Paris, I'm about to say something very controversial, but I did not like that at all. And in fact, I thought the whole thing was kind of racist. This whole idea of just like Emily going to Paris and all of these French people just being like, we are scared of you because you're American and you're so great and you are so innovative, and like, I don't know, that just like really rubbed me the wrong way. Maybe it's because I have lived outside of this country and I'm like, this was clearly written by an American. That's like, you're not just gonna travel to another place and just like be this celebrity and everyone's like intimidated by you because you're an American. You're such a forward thinker. Like, what? No. I don't know. And the way that it like showed French people, I didn't really love it. And that's coming from someone that I personally don't really like Paris. I don't really like France. I mean, the food's phenomenal. I lived 15 minutes away from France, and I was in France all the time. I did a lot of vacationing and traveling around France, but yeah, not the biggest fan culturally, or just, there just wasn't a ton I loved about it. And with all of that being said, I didn't like Emily in Paris because I felt like, even though some of it felt, accurate to how I felt when I was there, I just didn't like how they painted it, and I felt like it was honestly offensive to French people. I mean, I don't know, maybe French people love it, and I'm just getting offended on their behalf for nothing, but I just was not into Emily in Paris. These are the last ones that we're going to talk about. The Act, Switched at Birth, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Dash and Lily, Prison Break, NCIS, Parenthood, Bunheads, and Dead to Me. NCIS was the series that I grew up watching, and so I watched so much of it, but when I left home, I never picked it back up and haven't watched it since. But it has a really special place in my heart because my dad loves NCIS, and so I always was a big fan of Gibbs and Zeba and all of the things, Tony, but once they all kind of left, no. Well, I even gave up before then, but it was when I was growing up, I watched NCIS. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, similar vibes to WandaVision, where I think I just gave up one episode before the end. I just didn't care anymore. Switched at Birth, I got almost to the end. Again, I was very interested in the deaf aspect, the sign language. That was very fun, but it was too dramatic, and I just stopped caring about all of the characters and their petty little drama. The act was super good. I did have to skip a lot of like disturbing scenes. The story itself being a real story of, oh gosh, what's her name? Something Blanchard. Hold on. Gypsy Rose, that's right. Who's a real person. She murdered her mother. Her mother did some terrible, horrible things to her. She has had a condition that made her falsely think that Gypsy Rose had medical conditions, and then anyways, you could like look up the whole story. I'm explaining it terribly right now, but the show was really well done. I don't remember why I didn't even finish it. I think I got distracted by something else, and I think I saw what I needed to see, and I knew the end of the story, so I just never finished that one. It has Joey King in it, which I think she bothers a lot of people, but I thought she was really good in it. We all know my feelings on Prison Break, and we all know why I gave up on that one, so I don't think it needs another explanation. I've talked about it ad nauseum. Parenthood, that one was so good, but it was just too long. And I was watching This Is Us at the same time, and I love This Is Us, and they were very similar vibes, and This Is Us was just better, so I stuck with This Is Us and gave up on Parenthood. Bunheads, I started that one because I had watched Gilmore Girls, and it seemed like it was going to be similar vibes, but I got a season in, and it was dumb, so I didn't continue. And then my latest, DNF, was Dead to Me. I have talked about it on the pod. Yeah, it was just good for a season and then stupid for the rest, which is so sad to me that just seems to be the common thing that happens. But alas, many TV shows have found that fate. Thank you so much for sitting here with me as I review all of my DNFs. This was fun. So for all of those out there that are like feeling bad that you don't accomplish things or finish something, that's okay. I finish things all the time, but just know anything that I am finishing, it was worth finishing. And I think that's how I'm able to finish them. Honestly, if we get down to the nitty-gritty, I'm able to finish tasks because I give up on the ones that aren't worth it. And I don't feel bad about that. And I think that if we all kind of implement that a little bit more, if you stop wasting your time on things that don't matter and just focus more of it on things that do, then you'll finish more tasks. You'll set those resolutions and you will complete them, my girl. But don't feel bad about the things that were left on the wayside. We don't need them. We don't. All these TV shows, they don't need us, we don't need them, and we don't have to feel bad about not finishing them. There's always Wikipedia. You can always just look up the ending. And that's where I will leave all of this with you today. Thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of your year. And I will catch you on the flip side. I will catch you in 2025. The last little bit of this podcast is just going to be my conversation with Abby about goal setting. Hopefully you'll enjoy it and have a wonderful rest of your week. Are you ready for this?
Let me pull up my notes.
Oh, yeah. Yes!
I mean, not that I even have that many, but
Hey, those 2 or 3 notes are valuable.
They are, yeah. Because I'll think of things, or I've thought of a couple things, and I'm like, oh yeah, that would be fun to mention. And you always forget it when you need it.
Oh, so. Exactly. That's why my entire life is written on my phone. Do you want to see something? Do you want to see something insane? Like certifiably crazy? You ready for this?
I'm so ready.
So my notes section of my phone. Look how many notes that is.
Holy cow! How do you even remember that you have those?
I go through them, no joke, like once a month.
No way.
I have over 1,000 notes on my phone. But ask me anything. Ask me what my pet peeves are.
What are your pet peeves?
Oh, no worries. Let me look them up. Because it's all...
You made a list
Of course I did.
You're the most organized human.
Pet peeves. Right there. Okay? Then I've got what somebody wants for Christmas, right? You know those random thoughts that you get in like March, and you're like, oh my gosh, that'd be the perfect Christmas gift for my friend.
You have a note
Christmas
for it.
gifts.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I do that with my like contacts. You know how in the notes section of your contact you can do notes, and so when someone's like, oh, I really want like a new pair of boots or something, go put it in their contact. So then it's organized by person too. So when the holiday or the birthday comes around, you've got it.
It's brilliant. And I'll write people if they have a favorite candy or a favorite treat, or if we're having conversation and they just like are really passionate about something.
I love it.
Then I'll keep track of that, so that way, you know,
you're the best friend.
I love giving
so
a gift.
Nice.
I love gift giving. I love gift getting and gift giving.
Okay.
And then I also have, this one's probably my favorite. I have an entire section for my future husband.
Oh, he's gonna love that.
I know. Like, so in it, I have like my loves of things. I don't like bare feet on the floor. Like, it
oh
just.
My goodness, this is like so organized for him. Like, this is actually. I was thinking he's gonna hate this, but he's actually going to love this.
So
it's like all the cheat codes to Nikki.
Exactly. Because listen, this is my plan, is I'm gonna have like a binder. I'm gonna have a boyfriend binder, and then when he gets upgraded to husband, like we're adding new pages in, right? Like all my kinks. Like those are
which the binder is one of them.
Yes. Anyways, the boyfriend binder is gonna have, it has my order at all of my favorite restaurants. So look at this, like what to order me at fast food places, McDonald's, and then I have like options of like, here is one option that I really like, my specific order, and then I have or this, Panda Express, Chick-fil-A, Costa Vida, any self pizza making place, Subway.
Wow.
I get my order written down.
Wow.
Right? So then it can
good.
be all accessible, right? When he's out and about and he just wants to get me a meal because that's the kind of man I'm going to marry, then he doesn't have to text me. He can surprise me.
Yeah.
But with my exact order.
It's genius.
But with everything I want.
And you'll get everything you want out of life because you've prepared.
And I have, like, what to do when I'm upset. I have, like, lists of things that I really like
I just,
that were, like...
would never have thought, like, I need to write this down for somebody.
When you think of, like, what do you do when you're
so
really, really
self-aware.
sad? Really, I just think, what a great partnership that would be if this whole idea of like, oh, I don't know what a woman wants. Bullcrap. I will tell you everything I want.
Got it bullet pointed.
It will be color coded.
An option. The second one or the third one.
And I have like things that will like certifiably piss me off. Like it's like, if you do this, I will be mad. Like, don't do this list. If you do this, this will be the like, I will be upset.
That would lay it out.
Yeah, that'd be a stupid move for you.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to share for reference. You have over 1,000 notes. And I feel like I keep like a normal amount of notes. Like I didn't use the notes app. Yeah. I have 99.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like this is so underutilized now.